Hello everyone, welcome to Alfonso Academy. My name is Sir Peter Alfonso and basically I am a science teacher. So I have created this YouTube channel for the students of Maharashtra board. So I'll be dealing with the subject science and technology, both the parts 1 and 2, and then I'll be helping with other subjects like geography, English and mathematics. So to start with, we have the first chapter, gravitation of science and technology part 1, and this is my first video on YouTube. So in this chapter we'll be learning about the concept of gravitation. We'll learn about what is gravitation, and then we'll learn about centripetal force related to circular motion. Then we'll have a small introduction to different scientists like Tycho Brahe, Galileo, Sir Isaac Newton, and then Johannes Kepler and their works. And then we'll have three important laws of Johannes Kepler, the three important Kepler's laws. Then we'll discuss about the gravitational force between any two objects. So next we'll learn about universal law of gravitation and inverse square law of gravitation, of course, which was given by Sir Isaac Newton. And then we'll have a discussion on value of acceleration due to gravity and its variation, so which is of course denoted by small g. So we'll study what is gravity and the value of acceleration due to gravity and its variation based on the position of the object. So it might be on the surface of the earth, or it might be underneath the ground to a certain depth, or it might be on to a certain height. So we'll understand how g varies, how small g, which is acceleration due to gravity, varies with respect to height. Then we'll discuss about what is mass, what is weight, and the difference between the two. So we had learned this in our lower classes also, what is mass, what is weight, but here we'll learn it in detail. We'll understand the difference between the two, and to go at the last, we'll learn about these two topics: free fall and escape velocity. What is free fall? Whenever we throw an object up, it automatically comes down. So whenever only one force, which is the gravitational force of the earth, or we can also call it as gravity, acts on that particular object and no other force acts on it, we say that that object is falling freely towards the earth's surface. And then we'll study about escape velocity, which is the minimum velocity which is required to escape or to exit from the gravitational pull of the earth. So we'll have a detailed study about all the topics, and we'll derive many formulas, we'll have many numericals based on that. So at the start of the chapter there are three questions given. The first question is, what are the effects of the force acting on any object? So as I have written on the board, shape and size changes. This is the first possibility when we apply force on any object, it might happen. So for example, if you take a balloon and press it with your muscular force, definitely its shape and size will change. Now suppose the object is at rest. Suppose if I take a tennis ball, it is rest, and just apply a muscular force, it might come into action. When the ball falls down, we come to know that application of ball has resulted in the change in the position of the ball. So an object at rest might start moving. If the object is moving, it might come to rest, or it might decelerate, or it might accelerate. So if the object is in motion, for example a bicycle, on the application of brakes, it might decelerate first. The speed of the cycle might become less, because when you apply the brakes, there is a frictional force between the tire and the brakes. So it results in the deceleration of the velocity of that particular bicycle. Now deceleration is slowing down. It's opposite of acceleration. So if a bicycle is already moving, if we apply the brake, it will decelerate first, and then it might come to stop. So it might stop moving. And if you apply more force for a moving object, then definitely there will be acceleration. It will accelerate. So second question, what types of forces you are familiar with? We have studied this very well in standard 6. The first force which I had studied was muscular force, which is an applied force. Then mechanical force, which is also applied force with the help of the machines. Then next force is frictional force. Just I gave you the example about the bicycle and the brakes. That is the force of friction. Plus when we walk, there is friction between our legs, the foot, and the ground, and that is why we are able to walk. If there was no friction, we would have slipped down. We would have not been able to stand or walk. Then next is magnetic force. This is the force associated with magnetic materials. So suppose if there is a magnet, and if you get magnetic materials like iron, cobalt or nickel around it, definitely it will attract. So that is the force of magnetism, magnetic force. Next is electrostatic force. So this force is between particles when the charge gets activated in them because of friction. Suppose you had studied an experiment, you did it in standard 6 with a comb and small bits of particles of paper. You had to rub that on your hairs and then get it close to the particles. The particles of paper used to get attracted by the comb. That is because when there is a friction between the hairs and the comb, there is a charge. There are charges which get generated, and because of that charges, the particles come and get attracted by the comb. And the last one is gravitational force. Now what is gravitational force? If you consider an object, throw it up, it comes down. Now why does it comes down? Because of the force of attraction of the earth. So object reaches to a certain height and then it is pulled down by the force from the earth. Now this force which is applied by the earth on any object is called as the gravitational force. So the force between the object and the earth is called as the gravitational force. Now it does not mean that only there is gravitational force only between object and the earth. It is a universal force. So it acts between any two given objects, any two given particles in our universe. So it is a universal force. Now this phenomenon of gravitation was discovered by Sir Isaac Newton. So he observed an apple falling down from a tree directly vertically downwards onto the ground, on the surface of the earth. He never saw an apple flying off or going in a horizontal direction or going in a slanting direction or any other direction. He always saw it falling directly vertically downwards, or in other words perpendicular to the earth's surface. So I have shown here two trees. On your textbook there is one tree. I have shown two trees. Now just consider this as apple tree and apple falling down onto the surface of the earth. Now this apple falls directly vertically downwards on the surface of the earth, which is directed towards the center of the earth, and this apple also falls vertically downwards onto the earth. So he observed this phenomenon and he discovered the phenomenon of gravitation. Now by looking at this full diagram, you might also have a question. There is one more picture which is shown in this diagram, which is the moon. If apple falls down on the earth, why does not the moon falls on the earth? So this question too I will solve, and let me clear the board off. Now apple falls on the earth but the moon does not fall on the earth. What is the reason? Simple reason, because moon orbits around the earth. Moon orbits, it revolves around the earth in the same path. So what happens, I'll give you a small example to understand this concept of orbiting. Just consider this as earth. On top of the earth, on the surface of the earth, there is a very tall building, and on the tall building there is a Superman who is standing with the object in his hands. So what he does at the start, he throws the object in the horizontal direction. He throws the object in the horizontal direction. But what happens to the object? It comes down and it lands down on the earth's surface. Why does it land down? Because of the gravitational pull of the earth. Now next instant again he tries to throw the object with a greater speed, but again the object comes down and lands down on the next point. Same way he tries the third time, it lands down further up. Now you must remember that The gravitational force which is acting on this object acts from the center of the earth. It acts from the center of the earth, perpendicular to the object. It acts perpendicular to the object. Now every instant it will act from the center of the earth. Now at next instant the object will reach on further position. Now at the last instant, just imagine the Superman throws the object at so much velocity, so much speed, that it returns to the initial position from where it was launched with the same speed. It will come down with the same speed. It will cover one full orbit, one full circle, one full round with the same speed. Now what will happen when it returns to with the same speed? Again it will continue to orbit. Again it will return to the same initial with the same initial speed, and it will keep on rotating. It will keep on rotating. It will keep on orbiting, revolving. So same thing happens with the moon. It had a initial velocity, initial speed. Same way it is rotating. It is not landing on the surface of the earth. But what is keeping the moon in that same path or same orbit? The gravitational pull of the earth. But it is not enough to bring the moon on the surface of the earth. But it acts on the moon, and that is why moon keeps on rotating in that circular path around the earth. So two things which are helping the moon rotate the circular orbit. First thing is the initial velocity which it was given at the start, and second thing is the gravitational pull of the earth. And this is the reason because why the moon orbits, and because the moon orbits, it doesn't fall on the surface of the earth. So we have seen that whenever force is applied on a particular object, that object changes its speed as well as direction of motion. Now next on your textbook there is a question: what are Newton's 3 laws of motion? What are the Newton's laws of motion? Now you have studied this in standard 9th in your first chapter, laws of motion. Now what does the first law says? Whenever an object is at rest or is in uniform motion in a straight line, unless and until an external unbalanced force acts on it, it tries to be in rest or it tries to be in the same motion. So if no external force acts on that object, it remains in the same state. For example, you must have played tug of war. Both the sides, if the force is the same, it is balanced force, then the center of the rope remains static. It remains static at the same place. But suddenly if one side becomes a little bit heavier, little bit with more force, then definitely the center of the rope will move towards that side. So that is the unbalanced force. So until and unless external unbalanced force acts on an object, that object continues with the same state, whether it is of rest or whether it is of uniform motion. What does the second law says? The rate of change of momentum is proportional to the applied force, and the change of momentum occurs in the direction of the applied force. So the rate of change of momentum, as you have studied, momentum is the product of mass and velocity of the moving object. So you had derived a formula for this Newton's second law of motion, F equal to ma, which is force equal to mass into acceleration. And the third law says that every action has equal and opposite reaction force. So every action force has equal and opposite reaction force. And we had taken the example of gun and the bullet. The gun recoils after firing a bullet. So bullet goes in the front direction, but there is some reaction force also. The gun recoils. So that was the Newton's third law of motion. So next we will study about circular motion and centripetal force. Take a stone, tie a thread to it and try to rotate it. try to rotate it. What do you get? The stone is trying to go away. You can feel the force at the center. It is trying to go away, but still it cannot go away because of this thread. The same thing is occurring in case of moon and the earth. There is not a thread, but instead of thread there is a force of gravitation which pulls the moon towards its center. The same thing occurs over here. It tries to go. If you just leave the thread, then the stone will fly off in a tangential direction, like I have shown over here. It will travel in a tangential direction to the circle. Now if you leave the stone over here, then again it will go in a tangential direction to the circle. Same thing over here. So we have seen that there is a force which acts towards the center, which is called as centripetal force. It is also called as center seeking force. Now centripetal means center seeking, that is the object tries to go towards the center of the circle because of this force. So this force constantly acts on the object. If no such force was acting on it, then it would have traveled in a tangential direction to the circle. If there was no force, this force of tension, this thread was not there, then this stone would have traveled in a tangential direction to the circle which the stone was making. Now, all the planets in the solar system revolve around the sun in a similar fashion. Moon revolves around the earth in the same way. Now, we had discussed about moon and the earth. Moon is revolving around the earth because of the gravitational force which the earth is having, and also because of the initial velocity which the moon was having. Now this pattern is followed by all the planets which revolve around the sun. All the planets revolve around the sun because of the gravitational pull of the sun and the initial velocity with which the planets are having. These 2 points are very important. So this answers all the questions whichever you are having on page number 2 of your textbook. So this was my first video on YouTube on chapter gravitation. This was the first part. So next part will be having a small introduction to different scientists, and then we'll learn about the 3 Kepler's laws, and we'll have a discussion on universal law of gravitation, Newton's universal law of gravitation. So hope you understood whatever I explained you in this video. So please subscribe my channel. It's Alfonso Academy. Thank you very much.